Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the fact that many of Pacquiao's previous opponents in the post-fight interviews talk about it seemed like they were fighting 2 or 3 Manny Pacquiaos at the same time. You know, a lot of them speak about how they felt like they were being punched by multiple people. One of the reasons this is the case is because Pacquiao punches in and around his opponent's defense. He punches around you and he punches in between your defense. And due to his hand speed, this can become very, very overwhelming as the fight goes on.
Very high, taking a lot of them on the gloves, but Pacquiao still getting through.
Gets in a left hand there. Bradley up. Goes to the 30.
Lovely counter from Pacquiao.
So as you can see, Manny Pacquiao brings in such a high punch volume to the fight that most of his opponents will naturally find themselves constantly in a high, tight guard defense. And this is where they're going to be for a large portion of the fight. Now, Manny is able to use a probing jab in this case to actually get Margarito to cover up into a high guard defense. And then the thing about the high guard defense is it's designed to block punches which are coming directly at you. Of course, you can adjust your hand position and block hooks and uppercuts and other things, but the thing is you still have a reduced peripheral vision. And therefore, seeing the hooks is becoming more difficult when you're in a high guard position. And Pacquiao is able to take advantage of this and punch around the high guard defense. And here we see Pacquiao force the right hand between Margarito's gloves. Now, when you have a person who's gifted with the incredible hand speed and combination punching speed like Manny Pacquiao, and he's punching around your defense and in between your defense, this can become very overwhelming, like I said previously. And then you see a straight left hand to the body and the right hand. He has very awkward punching angles. And there you see Pacquiao use a straight left hand and a jab to back Timothy Bradley up to the ropes. And now we're going to see what he does next. Jab, punches around the gloves of Timothy Bradley. But the first thing we notice is that Pacquiao steps over to his left. You see in my Lomachenko versus Opirapino video, I talk about when a fighter covers up or remains in a stationary position, you can step over to either side and basically attack on the flanks. And this is what you've just seen Manny Pacquiao do. And there you see him punching in between the guards. Once again, he's punching right around Timothy Bradley's high guard defense. So Bradley's defense is essentially useless at this point because Pacquiao stepped over to one side and is now attacking on the flanks, and he's also punching around Bradley's gloves. So now let's take a look at this 10-punch combination again. You see he begins everything off with a jab to set Bradley on the ropes. Left hook around the outside of Bradley's defense. Right uppercut down the middle. Left hook or straight left hand around Bradley's gloves. Right uppercut down the middle. Left hook again around the gloves. Right uppercut down the middle. Left hook around the gloves. Right hook around the gloves. Left hook again. Every one of those punches was either around or in between the gloves. Let's take a look again. Jab. Left hook. Right uppercut down the middle. Left hook on the outside. As you can continuously see from Pacquiao, he's punching either around or in between Timothy Bradley's defense. And here, like I said before, Pacquiao's straight left hand is really a phenomenal weapon. Here you see Manny Pacquiao's ability to change the straight left hand into a looping left hook midway through the punch. He's once again able to accurately land this left hand around the defense of Timothy Bradley. Beautiful punching from Manny Pacquiao.
That's right, Manny's backhand is super fast and so accurate. You see that right there, right on the chin and right on the gash.
Okay, so now let's take a look at what you see here from Pacquiao. Now look at Pacquiao's technique on this jab. This shows you an instinctive appreciation of how to land punches inside the high guard defense of his opponents. Notice how he turns his fist into a vertical fist to make it much easier to squeeze the jab between the high guard defense of Margarito. And there you see him able to land the straight left hand off of that jab. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Pacquiao's ability to split the jab. Now, Manny Pacquiao is actually one of the best at splitting the jab, and of course he has displayed this ability to counter the left-handed jab of the conventional boxer with his straight left hand on numerous occasions. Of course, Pacquiao being a southpaw, that straight left hand counter is always there for Pacquiao. Now, when you combine this with Pacquiao's foot speed, he has very quick foot speed, he's able to actually step over to his right, and therefore he's able to turn most of his opponents doing this.
Margarito, a pro since back right hand went through the guard.
Now, I truly believe that trying to establish a good jab against Pacquiao is one of the hardest things you can do, especially if you don't do it properly. If you have a lazy jab or if you don't use feints and head movement, it can be very hard to establish the jab. Pacquiao is simply too quick with his straight left hand for most conventional boxers, and against Margarito, this was exactly the case. Pacquiao neutralized Margarito's jab. Now, in my personal experience, I've never really liked aiming for the head of a southpaw with my jab. I simply found it way too risky because the southpaw has usually had way more practice on countering the conventional boxer's jab. So what I prefer to do was use the jab to the lower right hand side of the southpaw, which I'm going to explain. So I've had more success in my experience with using the jab to the shoulders, to the lower right hand side of the body, to the gloves, and even to the forearms of the southpaw. And by using the jab to these locations, it actually makes it much less likely for the southpaw to actually slip and counter with the straight left hand. Now, especially if you do this while you move to the left at the same time. So now we're going to take a look at how Pacquiao was able to shoot the straight left hand and then evade the left hand of Timothy Bradley and actually turn Bradley in the process. Once again, Pacquiao shoots the straight left hand, good defense to avoid the left hand, good foot speed to step to the right, turn Timothy Bradley.
Went through the guards. Margarito, a pro since back.
Now, this sensational knockout of Ricky Hatton is actually created by this very lead hand. Manny Pacquiao shows the lead hand, and this occupies and distracts Ricky Hatton momentarily. And it also acts as a blinder, and this is of course a tried and tested strategy in boxing of basically saying, look at my lead hand while I prepare something else for you. Now, after the lead hand has done its job, Manny Pacquiao was able to land this killing blow. Keep in mind, Ricky Hatton is not defensively responsible. He always kept that right hand way too low. Now, if you remember, this is the exact same place where Floyd Mayweather actually touched Ricky Hatton to actually put him to bed. And there we see Hatton out cold. Please make sure you click the red button to subscribe to my channel if you already haven't. Then check out some of my previous videos, or you could check out one of my more popular videos right now. Or you could do absolutely nothing and go out to the outro music.
Killers and they some jag boys. My niggas, they killers and they some jag boys. Don't call my phone for a feature, I text, you know it. Stalking bitch up on my line, I had to press ignore. Ran around with the slammer, never paranoid.